Right now, I'm trying to build an animation studio with almost no team. And depending on the day, that either feels incredibly exciting or like the worst idea I've ever had.
I've made a huge mistake.
Because in the last year alone, I've launched an indie cartoon, raised $42,000 to continue it, grown a YouTube audience from scratch, started selling merch, built a Patreon, hired my first intern, and also become more burnt out than I've been in years. Hi, I'm Emily Brundage, and I create cartoons for a living. Over the past decade, I've pitched and sold 8 original animated shows. Most recently, I created my own original animated show, Goldie, for Apple TV. It's been nominated for 2 Emmys, including Best Writing. Studios are pulling back. Development is shrinking. Projects are disappearing after years of work. So creators are starting to ask themselves a different question. What if we stop waiting for permission and start building our own worlds instead? And ever since my Strawberry Vampire Kickstarter got funded, I've noticed something kind of surreal happening. People have started looking at me like I somehow cracked a code. I get messages constantly now from creators, students, animators, producers, people trying to figure out how to fund their own projects, grow their own audiences, and maybe even build their own tiny studios someday. And I think part of the reason they're cheering me on is because they know if one of us figures this out, maybe more of us can. A rising tide lifts all boats. And honestly, I don't take that lightly. Because right now there are students graduating from expensive art schools into what honestly feels like a somewhat post-apocalyptic entertainment industry. The old career roadmap doesn't really exist in the same way anymore. And yet, at the exact same time, there's also more opportunity than ever before. Because entertainment has become so fragmented, creators suddenly have access to something previous generations didn't. Direct access to audiences, YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Discord. You no longer necessarily need a giant corporation to validate your idea before the world can see it. But here's the important part. I'm still figuring this out myself. My animation studio, Little Tffy, is not some massive operation. Not even close. I officially founded it last year as basically a one-woman studio. And the entire reason I did that was because I realized I was spending all my creative energy helping shape other people's worlds, while my own ideas kept sitting on the sidelines. So I decided to take a risk on myself instead. And honestly, it's kind of working. Not perfectly, not sustainably yet, not without incredible hustle and stress-induced eye twitching, but it's working. The Strawberry Vampire pilot found an audience. The Kickstarter got funded. People started showing up, and suddenly this little thing I was building in my office stopped feeling like a side project and started feeling like the early stages of an actual ecosystem. Which brings me to something I've been thinking about a lot lately. People keep talking about the animation industry like it recently broke. But honestly, I think it was already broken. We talk a lot right now about shrinking development slates, canceled projects, shorter episode orders, lower budgets, layoffs, and experienced creators struggling to find consistent work. And yes, streaming absolutely disrupted the industry in a massive way. Studios rushed into an ad-free streaming model that, frankly, was never going to be sustainable for most companies long term. But even before all that, the system already relied on a very small number of gatekeepers deciding which stories deserved to exist. And as a creator, that never made sense to me. Why should a corporation own the bulk of something deeply personal that you created? Why should the creator often become the most disposable part of the process? Now, for the first time in a long time, I think we're seeing a correction. Because we're entering a new era. And the new era favors creators more than ever before. Because in the creator economy, ownership becomes leverage. When you control both the IP and the audience that loves it, you're no longer just pitching an idea into the void. You're bringing proof. You're bringing a community. You're bringing an ecosystem that already exists. That's why creators are now building audiences on platforms like YouTube and TikTok, instead of waiting years for permission to make something. It's not just about getting views. It's about building worlds that can survive outside the traditional system. If you'd like to learn how you can develop your own original show, I wrote a popular ebook that should help. My book, A Guide to Developing Animated Shows, walks through the development process step by step. It's a comprehensive resource you can come back to again and again. So what does my day-to-day look like right now? Well, in the spirit of full transparency, I'm still developing projects in the industry with studios, just not my own IP. Right now, it's not sustainable for me to be 100% indie because I live in LA. My bills are high, I have a family and a home, and there's health insurance, that thing. At the same time, I feel the pressure to keep my YouTube channel growing, feeding the Strawberry Vampire fandom with vertical shorts, behind-the-scenes content on my Patreon, and videos like this one. I've been doing my own marketing thus far, and until now, it's been me posting, me cutting the shorts, me making all the announcements, but slowly, one baby step at a time, I'm starting to expand. Last week, I hired my first little Tffy intern, a wonderful person and storyboard artist named Katie, who just graduated from art college. She's been helping me cut shorts to post on socials, and created and runs the very lively little Toughy Discord. I also recently started working with an indie animator from Argentina, who goes by Pinson, to create fully animated shorts that supplement the long-form Strawberry Vampire animatics. But my little studio is essentially a startup, and most startups don't become consistently profitable in their first year or two. So I'm trying to keep my expectations realistic and let the growth happen gradually. And I'm okay with that. My hope is that as the series goes on, the next animatics come out, it'll attract more fans and people who want to support the show. I genuinely love to hear your thoughts on all this. And if you've been watching the indie animation space evolve alongside me, what pitfalls do you think creators and small studios should be careful to avoid? Because honestly, I think we're all figuring this out in real time. If you like these videos about my indie journey and like Strawberry Vampire, please subscribe to the channel, as Franny commands you to do. If you'd like to get behind-the-scenes updates as we create the next Strawberry Vampire episodes, become a member of the Little Tffy Patreon. We also have a growing Little Tffy Discord community, where you can share fan art, ask questions about the show, and meet other like-minded fans and creators. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next video.